Hello, folks, and welcome to Leaky Weekly, the show where we cover the last week or so in cybercrime current events. I'm your host, Nick Ascoli. Today, we have a very special guest, our very own Tammy Harper, who is a senior threat intelligence researcher on Flare's threat intelligence research team. Tammy and I work together, so we're familiar, and I'm excited for, you've probably seen Tammy, too, in other Flare things. We have our Flare Academy, our Discord. Tammy is super active in those things. And today she's here to talk about not only a recap of 2024 and what, kind of how the year played out in ransomware. Now, there's two important announcements to make before we get started. One is we have a Discord now. The Flare Academy has a Discord. This is a place where students and security professionals alike can join and keep up with evolving threats, keep up with what's going on in the dark web and the cybercrime world and in the world of ransomware. We share intelligence in there. We talk with each other. It's a very active community. And it's also where we share free versions of our Flare Academy trainings, which are our totally free cybercrime and threat intelligence training series. Tammy has taught many of them. I've taught several courses. Tammy, you have one coming up. So Tammy's an amazing teacher, and you will definitely benefit from the Flare Academy Discord and the courses. So please check them out at flare.io/trainings. You can get to the trainings from there. You can also get to the Discord from there. So without further ado, Tammy, you want to say hi,
Hi,
before
everyone.
we get into the questions?
Yes, thank you very much, Nick, for having me on. I'm very excited to be here. I spent a lot of time researching and understanding the trends that is happening in the ransomware ecosystem. I really enjoy it. But that is not everything that I do. I'm a huge fan of techno. I love listening to techno. Right now, I am listening to UFO 95, and then I'm also really big into astronomy. So there's a few big events coming up in my city of Toronto that I'm going to be attending. So I'm really happy and excited about that.
Tammy has given lots of cool talks, also some very exclusive ones, which, like I said, are in the Discord. So please check it out. So Tammy, can we assume that you're listening to techno while you're doing all of the cool things you do at work? Is this true?
It is absolutely true. The faster the BPM, the better for me.
Okay, good. That is classic hacker visuals, I think. Okay, cool. If you had to sum up ransomware, the ransomware world, the things we're going to talk about of 2024 in a single headline, what would it be?
More of the same for 2024. For 2024, when I'm comparing to 2023. So this is going back like more than a year now, but it was the ramp up. We saw players were really established, like Lockbit, AlphaV, Blackcat. Like these were the players that were really dominating the play field. We saw brand new entrants like Medusa. We saw new entrants like Ransom Hub, just starting off, right? And then we had a lot of the same old groups like Bian Lian, Play, and Cactus. And so a lot of these were like just starting and they were just like picking up steam. And like Black Basta was still around back in 2024. And they were hitting really large... they were hitting like Ascension. They were hitting like really large companies and organizations. So I would say more of the same for 2024, and it was definitely the year of the big operations like Operation Kronos and takedowns on AlphaV. So that was definitely one of the major disruptions that we saw.
I want to talk about some of the statistics you shared in your 2024 recap, which first of all showed a jump in claimed victims in 2024 over 2023 by a not insignificant amount. Why do you think there was an increase in victim claims despite all of the controls in place to prevent claims from happening in the first place?
So cybercrime gets easier every year, right? I think the statistic is like 5% easier every year to commit cybercrime at least. What's really interesting, I think, why we're seeing more victims happen is because, well, this is again from 2024. There was stability right? And there was definitely a framework. And there weren't that many disruptions. Like there were still disruptions happening, but the big ones didn't happen yet. And so like Scattered Spider was like making a name for itself. They were really like leveraging like social engineering techniques. That we saw like some big events happen, and it's so why are we seeing more and more? And then we saw like even this year, like now we're seeing a little bit of Killen is really the big player right now, but we're seeing a little bit of a shift in who's playing and who are the players now. But from 2023 to 2024, you definitely had like the Lockbit, which was one of the major players. You had Alfie, major player, and like those were like just even though they were disrupted in 2024, like LV and Ransom Hub like accounted for almost half of every single claim that happened, publicly claimed victim. So definitely the ease and prevalence of credentials being circulated and monetized and distributed online, that whole ecosystem is just getting more efficient. We saw Redline get taken down in 2024, so that also played a role in the disruptions that we're seeing in 2025. But what's also interesting is in 2024, there was a lot more, like affiliates were there, like there was a lot of stability, like Breach Forums was still like at its peak. And because recently we've seen a lot of threat actors pseudo retiring or just like groups just bowing out and ghosting. So there's definitely been a shift in trends.
That is interesting. Okay, so there's kind of two reasons. One is a slight decrease in, I guess, takedown ops, like a slight decrease in law enforcement activity. There weren't that many massive takedowns. Like there was like Operation Kronos, which we'll get to, but that combined with like IABs and by proxy the affiliates that buy from brokers on Ramp or like a couple other forums, it got easier for them. You're thinking to get access, like opportunistically, to the people that they end up claiming as victims.
Yeah, so definitely in 2024, there's definitely a lag that happens from claims being publicly made and then what we see on the actual websites. So, for example, Klopp was talking about making claims of from their Clio attacks all the way back in December of 2024. And these attacks were conducted at the end of like November 2024. But they only because of the Russian holidays and how like just Christmas gets celebrated. So when Klopp started making their claims for the Clio attacks from 2024, that only happened like 2 months later in January and February of 2025. So what we're seeing is that there's definitely a lot more Klopp is trying to use, for example, 0 days instead of like just logging into things a lot. But that's definitely an exception to the rule. Going back to your question of like making it easier to log in, it's definitely what's happening. Like besides the exception to like Klopp actually developing and utilizing a proof of concept and a vulnerability to gain access to hundreds of victims, most of the ransomware operators that we're seeing today, or even threat actors, are logging in through compromised credentials. So we saw this for Snowflake. This was allegedly and most likely compromised credentials that happened, and Spider basically downloaded a whole bunch of data from there and exfiltrated a whole bunch of data. And we're seeing this more and more. We're also seeing, like, for example, if you go on forums, you see a lot of initial access brokers selling access, and ransomware operators are taking notice of this and are buying access in troves there.
So you talked about logging in. Like the Snowflake examples are a great one. Super high profile case. People behind it, Kyber Phantom and Waifu, are in jail, both arrested as a result of the many investigations that happened afterwards. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. We'll cover the rest of me and Tammy's conversation on ransomware in the next episode, so we will see you there. Today's show was brought to you by Flare, the world's easiest to use and most comprehensive cybercrime dataset that integrates in your security program in 30 minutes. If you're interested in learning more and staying ahead of cybercrime, you can check out Flare's Academy. It's our free online cybersecurity training program that also comes with a very, very fun and cool Discord where people chat about this kind of stuff. Attending the trainings also gets you a CPE credit, so it's very worth it, and you'll learn a thing or two that I promise will be fun and interesting. To sign up for the next training, go to the description of this episode, and it should be pasted there, or go to flare.io/trainings.
I'm also in the Flare Academy Discord on Fridays at 12:30 to 1:30 Eastern for TI Fridays, where we discuss the latest information from the week and take a little bit of a review, and it's very casual. Come join us.